All the way to the cuticle. All the way, all the way.
Feel a little stingy, but not like bad. Like I want to rub it. Yeah, I want to rub it.
And again, we're going to go ahead and
Yeah, that's why you can tell the clients, relax, just lean
tap.
forward.
And I'm keeping the tapping now mostly
Yeah.
at the edge of the nail.
Yes.
It already feels better.
And
So I didn't wear any makeup today. It was just coming.
It looks so pretty.
I can't see it. Yeah.
okay, we'll let that set up before we
So they're,
push it off.
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, you can see it.
It looks like I have like already. Yeah.
What's Tammy Baker? What's
Lovely.
Had a big eyelash.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go ahead and put activator.
So you can see it curls and it tips. Do you want anything else?
Just be dry. I feel like soggy. Thank you. Okay.
We're going to let that set. And again, you'd be doing a whole hand, so you wouldn't have to wait in between. But you cannot go directly from activator to base or top because it makes the brush hard.
So it's not too difficult, but it's the end result is fine.
Yeah, because when you wake up in the morning, it's like you have something on already.
Yeah,
you know?
so.
This seals it.
The result come out the same if for someone who has bigger eyes and smaller eyes.
The only difference would be if they're bigger, the curl will look a little more obvious.
So the bigger one will look bigger,
Yeah.
and the smaller one will look.
It's just like when you
I'm gonna
put
let
on
that
lashes, if you put
dry.
eyelashes with the same C curve, it looks a little smaller with the same curve and same lash.
Yeah.
Because longer, it looks bigger, even though you can the exact same amount.
Will the result bring out the bigger eyes
And now I'm going to buff.
or just the
Yeah, but no, no, right, no,
So
no,
it looks like I have
You were a great mom.
And it really didn't even like, it only stunk for that 1 minute, and you just washed it, and that's it. Now it doesn't stick at all. No, it's good. I mean, you feel a little sensitive yet.
Now you can finish off with the top coat.
Yeah, it is nice.
So again, we're going to use our
Number 3.
activator.
You guys can take it from there, you make this your own, so this is how I did it, you can have your client, if you want your client to lay down, you can, it's just what we suggest.
So
But however you want to do
One
it.
thin layer of activator.
Up right now to get it done.
And then you're going to let this dry for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yes, exactly, that's very true, so I could say lean your head back, that'd be the thing to say.
You have to wash it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's better.
And then I'm going to rub any excess off.
That's necessary. I mean, clean the.
And a lint-free wipe. It is part of our process. So I demo it because it is in our instructions.
Everything that I just used.
Sometimes I don't do that. Just not necessary. Oh.
I didn't say that.
One small, one medium, one large.
You should do every step that the instructions tell you.
I think small, I would order one small. But one group.
Okay. And then we're going to do,
Yeah. So that has this, and this has 36 applications you can do it.
now,
So.
I'm covering it because this product, the top coat, is sensitive to air.
Oh, sorry, it's okay. No worries.
It can get rippling. So if there's any blower going, so we'll do this in 2 coats to seal it with a nice shine.
So would you have to do this on every nail then?
To be perfectly honest, I don't use the top coat. I use the gelish top it off.
Just to make it shiny?
Yeah, this one is 98.
This one is a medium brown.
Medium brown, so this.
But you need a UV light in order to use the gelish top coat. This is meant to be a no light system,
But very sensitive.
but the top coat is sensitive. So I just, I'm a little, for the demo, I want it to be perfect because so far the 3 that I've done have not been.
Really?
Yep.
Start small or have all the options right away. Because you never know what the client's gonna ask for. So the client asked me to make it lighter, I gotta do that.
This is color gel or the.
That's dip. That's dip.
Can you do that?
To be honest, I've never done that one. These are I can attempt it. It may not be the result we want, but I could attempt it.
You go upstairs
for
and
sure.
that, and then just get some black, brown, and light brown. Yeah, 1, 3, 3, 1. And then you need the, yeah.
But I believe that that would be the same as this,
Oh, it's not just another color.
just
Yeah,
doing
that's-
another color at the end.
Yeah, we sell it all, so you can get it all from here. Yeah, so just go upstairs.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Can you do this one in
这个是做镜
the
片色的，
对，平坡的
this
渐
one？
变。
它想是做3个镜片色。
What do you want to
因为
see?
这样子很丑啊
What would you like to see on that
这
now?
3种在一起。
The polygel in what?
Just the clear.
But I just did one.
这个
That was clear with
I
color.
want to see in the natural nail.
So you just want a plain, no polish on it.
Yes, yes. 因为你这样很丑，这个还好一点。
这个好哈。
You want to see if it discolors over time? Is that what you're looking
I
for?
like this one.
因为那个色给我看一下。
那个sample 给我一下。
谢谢。
You want to see the clear, or would you like to see one of the pinks?
Pink, please.
OK，我这个一些交接的调节里面那边那个，我就解决掉了。一直在那边就掉，因为那一个交接，叶粉。这个是所有的颜色吗？就是我的 colors 而已，还是 no colors？
啊，还有其他颜色。
There's 120 colors. I don't have a sample of all of them. Working on it, getting closer.
"你们这个上面是哪个？
我们现在稍等一下。
Shine off the nail with my 100 grit buffer. Knocking the debris off. And then we're going to cleanse.
等一下，我要做一个那个。
Making sure that cuticle line is free of any dust.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
It was too many people here. I can't stand on time. So go back there.
Okay. No worries. Put this away. Using our pH bond.
他们的是这平坡的是12，12，
Then our Pro Bond.
12块。这平坡的他们。
就是一罐，对吧？
对。
那 OK，那我去楼上，反正我还要拿东西。
待会儿你看完了可以上去在店里面再看一遍。
哎，你上去帮我叫那个女
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the light pink on her.
所以一个，等一下，没有，他是说
Using my poly tool,
没有，他把建议信息给他。
we're going to make sure it's clean first. That's important. We're going to squeeze a medium-sized bead, slice it off, roll it into the center of the natural nail. Dipping into my slip solution, which is not a monomer. It has no active monomers in it. Bleed off the excess. And then we're going to make the bead a little bit pretty before we start pressing. Just trying to get it round and smooth and even. And then we're going to go ahead and press with the belly of the brush. And we're going to press to the side wall, towards the cuticle.
Pedicure.
to the sidewall.
So I'll see you guys on the next round next year.
OK，
And then we're
啊，
gonna
你帮你养好
I'll。be back.
work it to the cuticle line. And as soon as I feel my brush start to stick, dip, wipe, back lead, and then pat, spreading it evenly, making sure that I'm keeping my brush parallel to the nail surface, and then I'm going to stroke to smooth.
So how do you take this off?
File it.
Everything file, right?
Yeah, you file this off. You can, there is a technique to apply it in a way that you can semi-soak it off. Instead of using the Pro Bond, use the foundation from Gelish. And when you go to take it off, you want to file it really thin and then wrap it with the remove in tin foil and soak it for about 20 minutes. And then the whole rest of it will just kind of come off.
它这个可以做 filling 吗？他说
可以，可以做 filling。
对，
是拿不掉啊，这个膜。이거也可以泡你，但是非这里是让的用完了，就给读，这都泡你用呢，没了，一般你用呢，一个你用呢就是放你。这样用，因为真正会好呢，一些产品就非常出现了，它没了。
你刚说他那一瓶
So
水
is
是多少
it
钱？
I'm just making sure that I have a really good smooth transition down to my cuticle.
So
The
is it
sidewall.
easy break or crack while some ladies does a lot of housework?
It's really incredibly durable. I don't have a lot of problem with it cracking, or I have no, it doesn't crack. It doesn't crack like the traditional acrylic would crack, or a hard gel would crack. It doesn't do that. The worst I've seen is if somebody's actually gotten it caught like in a drawer. My one client got it caught in a car door and popped it, but it doesn't crack. It doesn't dry out the way acrylic does, and it's more flexible than acrylic so that you don't have that cracking problem. Of course, it can happen, but I'm just saying that it's not the generally, I don't have clients coming back with cracked or broken nails. Any excess that I have at the edge, I'm just going to cut off with my spatula tool. I just want to make sure that I don't have any excess under the nail. That's
So regular nail, you don't need even you don't need a buff, you don't need the fight, right?
put that in. If I do my application spot on, no, I really don't. I don't have to file at all. I just buff the surface a little bit so that it has enough grip for the next thing that I'm going to put on. But no, if you have a good application, we have several technicians that are able to just apply it without filing at all. I'm in awe of them because I cannot do that.
这边有看明连接，明接的话可以看到这边的视频。
没事，但是你会那所有客人跟他做的。
哦，这边可能会有一段就是削减掉。
So 30-second cure, hand out. And again, we don't have to.
Yeah.
So
Do you
just-
charge the same if a customer doing for their own nail or the extension?
No, I do not charge the same. There are definitely different prices for all of that.
Yeah.
So if I'm just doing an overlay like this on a natural nail,
Uh-huh.
it would be $40.
Okay.
If their nails are
$40
just for this,
Just for this.
Just for this.
So
polish,
for the color,
regular
is
polish.
the same or not?
yeah, if I'm doing it, so it would be this and regular nail polish.
Okay.
47
For the gel.
for the gel.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 其实这样子 that's very beautiful.
Thank you.
So if you do extension,
So if I'm doing an extension, anytime I'm putting a form on a client, I start at $65.
65, and for the French,
75 and up, depending on, it depends on the length, it depends on what we're doing, but for French, it's always 65 and up because I'm putting a form on. If it's a long French, it'll be 75, but it's going to start at $65.
Okay.
So you also charge like a pinky one, just one color, same as $40 for all nails, right?
Say that again.
You see her pinky one has one color. It's
This
also
one,
$40.
this would be this because I did an extension.
Oh, so if that's her own nail,
If it's her regular nail, if it's her nail, like this one,
yeah.
and I'm putting gel polish on it,
Uh-huh.
that's $47.
Okay,
It's just $7 more.
Right, $7 more for the gel polish.
Got you. Same products, right? So you see how you charge for this? One is like 3 colors, one 2 colors. Are they same price for you?
No, the more color I use, the more I would charge. For every color I add, I'm going to upcharge.
So how much can you charge for each one? It's like a 3 colors.
For dipping, again, it's about where you are in your area. For one color for dipping on the natural nail is $25. Every time I add a color, it'll go up $5.
Oh.
So for two-tone, it'll be 30. For three-tone, it'll be 40, 35, et cetera, et
So this
cetera.
one is dipping, right?
That's the dip, correct. Just a little thick. I want to bring that down a little bit. I know many technicians who don't charge any difference between their acrylic enhancements, gel enhancements, and dip enhancement. They'll charge the same price. So in their salon, it would be $47 to do the dip because it's already the color. So it really, it depends on your area. It depends on the clientele. It is very dependent on that. Would you like me to seal that with a top coat?
Yes, please.
Just making sure that all of that is evaporated.
But if you put the regular polish, then you don't need a.
Correct.
一摸着，
那个你就让
一件
它
可带着的。
透明的，因为我要看。
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. You guys asked good questions and it gets me thinking too. I'm excited to see if you guys do it, how you'll take it. You'll be better than me for sure.
Okay, and you go.
You know, if I see you next
30
time.
seconds.
Okay, yeah. Because I get shaky hands
Can
sometimes, so.
later do me just pinky for that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Nhưng hay đi bây à? Lấy钱去差不多。
这个今天有折扣吗？还是
有折扣啊
多少
，60块钱一罐，
不是60打8折啊？
我还不够卖。I just
I asked-
Grace, she said, "Do you have any discount, any deal?" I said, "I don't have enough
She said
product to sell,
discount already.
right? I don't have
It's
enough.
true. He doesn't
I don't
have
have
it. He
enough
doesn't
to
have
sell.
it.
我没有，因为 a lot of them are back order.
Beautiful,
There's a
I
lot of
like
people-
it. 好漂亮啊，
嗯
姐！
对啊
就算不擦油都
很自然
就
漂亮。
可以了
就很好看
，natural, very natural.
Very beautiful.
You do permanent French.
You do good
It's beautiful.
job.
Thank you。
You're welcome. Thank you. You're a
Yeah，
good
做
model.
一个
好亮，你看
小
好亮
拇指
啊，漂亮。
真的很漂亮。
Okay, so you want to see the same fade?
Yes.
真假都很漂亮
一。个早上阳亮，
我再看一下。That's beautiful.
中工作能做，就是用笔压
很
一下。
自然的。
问题
真的很
是现在
自然
的工人不愿意做，他只愿意做小工，拿好小费。
没关系，你让他做的话，给他分一点成咯。
自己做，
又方便对吧？又没味道，又简单，容易操作。
关键没有刺激，
对，他对皮肤啊什么都不会有刺
都是无
激。
毒无害的。
哎，那个碳睫毛那个产品是一直都有，是不是？
我们一直都有的，对，
一直都有
我们是
哈。
做代理，对。做代理
他刚刚那个 push 多少钱一个？
我们没有买这种不需，
为什么没有？他这个好像
这个大概要25块。
25块，他这个 push 好像蛮好的。
对，
比我们那种
是。
You don't carry the pushers?
No.
Why not?
We sold out. We had before. Yeah, we had before.
Oh, now he says he had them.
Yeah,
He doesn't have them now.
$25. You know how many people pay for $25 per shirt? Only demo. They do buy it. They ask for everything, you know, the little things.
Right.
The
wipes and the
we have
this.
it for long time. I only have to show them. Okay. 这个是最新的 dipping powder。
Okay.
对，
Yep.
我知道，我是说，
嗯，
我用别的牌子也可以，
用别的牌子
不用跟他，不用传给他听，
可以没有问题，
都没问题。
你有其他的颜色？
不是因为，我是说别的牌子掺着用，
可以
可以哈，
可以，
因为我上一次
一样的，
我上一次来买，你们缺货嘛，我就
我们
买了，
现在有了，
现在有了。
你说的是哪一个？
So I'm using my dip prep.
OK，
Have to use the dip prep. We cannot
你
use the
现在就是在
pH
那做两个颜
bond.
色的那个。
对对，
你就是
渐变对。
其实
做3个颜色。
This
他不
one
做
is you
我刚
should
问
write
过
something on it, so you can just use it as a, you put something on the package.
他说
We brought it, but I
反正
can
他
leave
不
it
做
here.
了，他刚
So
我
if
刚
somebody
问
wants to
过
look
他
at
了
it, should I write something on it or just test her?
Yeah.
So our first coat is going to be
So people don't get this, because they won't have all the stuff in there.
pretty much 4/5 of the nail. And we're going to cover the whole nail
Right now,
with the light pink.
because I can go, I mean, I understand, because usually there's a lot. Last time there was nobody after, 3:30. So if you have people that need to get in here, just let me know.
Okay.
I'm gonna clean up so you can see transition. Thank you so much.
Second coat. Again, just a little bit more, but still not all the way to the cuticle. And we start right at the free edge. That's set up for a moment. And gently. And then our last coat. All the way to the cuticle. And I'm focusing now really very much at the free edge of the nail.
Hi.
Beautiful.
Are you guys familiar with jelly penny? Do you use this before?
We did not.
No? Okay. So it's just two-step soaking process for the feet. So if you put this or add this on your pedicure, you could charge more. So the first step, you use
Excuse me.
about 5 gallons of water. You use warm
Now
water.
I'm going to apply a layer of activator.
Turns the water into jelly.
This is going to help
So the
set
jelly does, everything
those layers.
water. So it's
And again, we would be doing an entire hand, so we wouldn't have to wait, but I'm going to wait just a few seconds because if I apply my sealer base coat, I will I will make my my brush hard. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
We're doing a gelish dip demonstration. I've just done an ombre using 2 colors. And now we're going to seal that with a final coat of base. This product is very versatile. You can do a lot of things with it. It works on a lot of people.
So before you find me, you also put the base color.
Yes, because what I've done is I've sealed the system. Now it's a sealed set on the nail. Ooh, ooh, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sorry.
That's okay. 不是，他刚刚磨第一次的时候我就有一点痛，但是我不想讲，因为我们有时候也会。那第2次他就更刺激了，不是皮包，就是第1次我就磨到了。我想说自己都干这一行的，我如果讲了不是客人讲我们也不舒服，对不对？就没有出声，没事，你看。 他累了，啊？对呀，这个又要讲，又要什么
In my salon, if I did that to you while I was doing a set, you get a free set of nails.
No.
Well, that's how it rolls in my salon.
Sometimes something happens, no problem.
And then we do our activator again. And now we're ready to seal this completely with our top coat. So we're going to do our activator. Let that activator go. Now I'm going to tell you, if we're going to put the top coat on, it's very, very sensitive to movement, to air. So we don't want any of that. Don't do any of that. None of that. No, none of that. We let that set up, and then we're going to rub any excess off with a lint-free wipe. Now we're ready for our top coat. We're going to do 2 layers of top coat to get a nice, healthy shine on it. And because there's a blower going in here, I'm going to just cover it so that it's very, very sensitive to air. So if it gets air blown on it, it will ripple a little bit. So that's why I'm covering it. I'm not hiding anything here. I'm just trying to keep it from.
非常疼。
Second coat.
碰到那个
那里
就会疼。
Just want to keep that air from blowing on it.
因为你会跟着一起，就你敏感。
我就看他们很就可以。So is it the same way to do the 3 colors? It's just like a more dipping layers.
Yeah, you're just using 3 colors. So I would do the 2 layers. I would do this as the base on the whole nail. And then a second layer would be this color. And then the third layer would be that color.
But always put in the base coat first, right?
Yes, always have to put the base coat on, yeah, each layer.
No cuticle oil.
No cuticle oil?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
这转化进入发点看，最近这
你叫他做，他也许
Okay, there you go.
beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
没关系，我刚好带了有药，
Do you
我可
mean
以
the three
擦。
colors？最好
I can try.
对，学
Yes.
习一下。
a lot. My husband asked you for it.
Okay, sure.
绿发姐，绿发姐，那绿发姐跟你讲，这个很清楚。Yeah. So she can switch. You can switch. So you see this one, she got a we come together.
Okay, I'm gonna just go wash my hands. I'll be right back.
Yeah, she. I want her to sit with me.
Claro, porque nos muestra mi teléfono también. O yo grabo lo que les van a hacer a ustedes. A nosotros.
你要见到他可以找阿拉一个嘛，我亲爱的一天学很难找到找的进我。所以你个找的，你是吧？那个啊，一天学这几。去这关的那个。
De 3 colores.
这个68一万，我这个没有60。
El de 3 le va a hacer a ella.
这可能个一家公司产品。
Ese nos falta hacer sombreado. Es los mismos, los mismos.
Sí, pero el color. Esto también es de Zara. My friend, you can do my pizza.
Which one?
This one.
Sí tenemos.
Green finger.
Using my pusher and prep tab tool. This is a double-ended pusher, and we have little adhesive abrasive tabs that go on it. And we can clean up that cuticle line. And also take the shine off the rest of the nail. And then we just remove the tab after we've done the whole set of nails. Like so. And throw it away. Put this in our sanitizer, and it's good for our next client.
So what's this for?
This is cleanse. This just removes any debris, cleans the surface
你的
of the
指甲
nail.
不用延长吗？这么短，做3层的话，
So you're gonna make tension on them.
I'm sorry?
You're gonna make tension.
No, we were going to do dip.
Oh.
You can't extend with the dip. You'd have to apply a tip. I'd have to glue a tip on. Is that what you want?
可以。
对了，应该是要的啦，不然那么短。
Just using my prep to prep the nail, clean it, remove any oil, set the proper pH. Size her up. So when I'm applying a tip, I like to use my 180 grit file and just give an extra file at the free edge where I'm going to apply that tip so I have better contact. That light just changed? I feel like the light just changed. No, okay. Just my imagination. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prep this nail. Thinning out the contact area. Okay, and I use the base coat as my adhesive because it's an excellent nail tip adhesive.
Can you use this area?
这样就需要照灯了嘛？用它那个 base coat 是不是？如果用我们的那个胶就不用照灯。
So you only use this base color, never using the blue, right?
哦，也是不用纸。哦。
Okay.
Hello? Laurie, yeah, let me take a look at it. iPad.
Oh, go iPad. It's in a blue face.
It is blue face, right?
Yeah, that's terrible now. Tengo que nada con tu cara.
I don't see it. Sorry. Hello? 下面有些冒。
Now, because I've applied a tip and I've been touching, I like to prep the nail, the natural nail, one more time just to make sure that there are no oils. Let that evaporate. And we're going to start with the lightest color. Starting with our base coat. Oh, sorry. Because we've put a tip on, we have to reinforce that area. So we're going to use our clear. And depending on the shape of the nail, does it have an arch, does it have a dip, whatever, is going to determine the shape that I apply my reinforcement on. So her nail is really in pretty good shape. There's nothing unusual. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply a strip down the center.
The whole thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, if I want to refine this so that so that it's not too thick or too heavy, I'm going to allow it to set. And I would apply some activator to it so that it's completely hard. And then I would then using the 100 grit side of my 100-180 buffer, just
Thank you for letting me know.
你找到了？That's 2 layer. Now she's doing 3 layer.
okay. Just want to make sure all of the dust is fully removed. Okay, now we're ready to start our fade. So our base coat, again, we're only going to do this area here, and then we're going to dip in the pink.
So for the fade, you only do the powder with the shine inside.
Yeah, that never it never works that way. I've seen other people do it, but
It doesn't come out good.
no. So
Only with the shimmer inside, it looks better.
so now
Okay,
just over where we were, because we're going to have to do 3 layers of this. We want to make sure that we are not getting too close to the cuticle right away. Now we're not going to dip again in the light one like we did with the other one. Okay, we're just going to go ahead.
Polygel 它会做灯。
And you can see that there really isn't any excess. So we're going to go ahead and do our base coat. And now we're going to do our darker color. I'm using Hybrid, Light Elegant, and this is Rhythm and Blues. And color combination is completely up to you as the artist. And then this, we will dip the whole nail. Let that set for a moment. Okay. Not completely satisfied with how that looks, so I'm going to go ahead and do one more layer. That's better. Better. Scoop my mixed color out. I'll let that set for just one moment while I close up all of my colors. Brush the excess off. Ooh, that's good. Pretty. And then we're going to use our activator to set all of that resin. And of course, we'd be doing a whole hand, so we wouldn't have to wait, but I have to wait 1 moment before I put the sealer coat of base coat on. Otherwise, my brush will get hard because it's the activator and the resin together.
This is the top coat, is the base coat.
This is the base coat because what we're doing is we're sealing it. Now we've sealed it all together. I'm going to let that set, and then I'm going to buff, and then I'm going to top coat.
It's the first, before it's a quick dry is top coat.
I'm sorry?
It's before it's a quick dry is the top coat.
This is the base coat.
This is the base coat, right?
Base coat on there, yeah.
Base coat before it's so that it's a quick dry, right?
Quick dry, yeah.
Oh, quick dry is base coat.
Oh, the activator, yes. Activator, then the base coat to seal it, yes. So I'm taking the shine off the entire surface. And if I want to refine my shape, this is the point at which I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and take my 180 grit file. I wouldn't recommend using an E-file on dip. The heat transfers very, very quickly. So it's not a method that I use when I'm working with dip. I keep to hand filing if I have to file at all. Generally speaking, when you're doing just a single color, you really don't need to do any refining. But when you're adding a few layers like this, it's necessary to do just a little bit refining of the shape. You don't want to have any, lumps or what have you. That's pretty good. Making sure all of the dust is removed. And we're going to activate one more time, and then we can put our top coat on. And as I've been explaining, the top coat is a little sensitive to air. So I am actually going to shield it because the air is blowing and it will ripple the surface. So we're going to activate. And let that set up for 20 seconds. And our instructions call for removing any excess on the surface of the nail with a lint-free wipe. And that is supposed to help it give it a really good shine. So when you're in the salon doing this, you don't want your client shaking their hand or blowing on it.
Can you use the fan to dry or no?
No, 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 no. The air from the fan will make the surface ripple.
Okay.
So you don't want to do that.
我是没有这样盖。
我也没有。
对呀。
Everyone's not fine. I just feel the gust. I'm like, ooh, it's not totally dry yet.
So how long by dry?
Two full minutes you want your client to sit before they leave, just to make sure that the top coat is completely set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a little bit there, but. Here you go.
Beautiful. 摸一下。
I like to use the gelish Top It Off as well for my dip. I think that it's a great finish for it. Holds up really well. and you don't have any of the issues, but you have to use the light, obviously, to cure it. The idea is that this is a,
That's really beautiful. You're doing good job.
I did an okay job. You're sweet, thank you. When do you do?
This month.
Oh, you look great. Wow.
Thank you.
You're really low. You're due soon? The end of the month? Yeah. Yes.
This is your own company.
Yes, gelish polygel. Polygel is a new form of hard enhancements.
Yeah, I just say because it's not like liquid.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, how many colors of this one?
6.
Only 6.
Only 6, and that's what all we're going to have. We're not going to do colors in it. It's not cost effective. It would cost too much money. Although it'd be really cool, right?
This tiene que comprar la
Ahora va a ser eso. ¿Con qué brocha?
Is this soft white like a marshmallow white?
No, it's not as soft as marshmallow. You open it and take a look. Absolutely. It's just a little bit softer. It's not as bright white as our bright white. Okay, what would you like to see? One color application? Would you like to see a French? You would like to see the baby boomer? Oh, that's okay. I don't know if I have one else.
Let it powder is gel.
This is polygel.
This is powder gel.
No, polygel. Okay, that's okay. So for this application, I'm going to be using my soft white and my cover pink. Yes. And my natural clear.
It's a make a box.
She can send. You can send a video for me.
Excuse me.
You have to do
Que le mande el video.
Yeah, video.
You, the
Okay,
telephone number.
917.
Oh, usted tiene. No. No, es el video. No, del video. Es que estamos yendo a grabar.
Pero dice que le mande. Bueno, dígale si uno.
Anótale el número.
She says she make a box
917.
together.
362
I'm sorry?
You want to make a box?
3535.
You want to do both?
Yeah.
Yes.
35.
We can do both.
What's your name?
Thank you.
XCV. Yeah, if you can.
Ya, y le mando ya me.
Okay.
Después le mando ya.
Are you gonna send it? 对，
As
是哪个电话号码？
as email 我
电话号码吗？你给我电话号码，我的是吗？
Está grabando Rosy.
Sí.
Graben, que yo no puedo.
I said, okay.
You said it.
Oh, no now.
Later.
Yes,
Yeah,
later,
okay.
later. Okay, okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, ladies.
Bye, ladies. You too.
Okay. Use the 100 grit side of the 100-180 buffer. You want to use the rougher side, 100 grit.
Tiene que ser
Número 100.
Taking the shine off the nail and etching the surface just mildly so that we have a good grip for the surface. Then I'm going to use my cleanse, gelish surface cleanse, just a small amount, and we're going to clean the debris and under the free edge of the nail. Smudge on my glasses. Okay, so when we're doing the pink and white,
Ese como rosadito,
okay, we're going to use
blanco, rosadito con blanco.
cover pink,
Cover ese lo cubre con la pintura.
dark pink, which is actually very sheer,
Como oscuro.
and bright white.
Brown white.
Okay, these are what we're going to use for this. Okay. And then for this nail, we're going to use our soft white and our cover pink with natural clear. Okay. So we're going to do both nails at the same exact time because we don't have to worry about it curing or getting hard while I'm working because it does not cure until it is exposed to UV or LED light. So we can do all 5 nails if we want to before we have to go into the light.
This is just a bonder, right?
This is, I'm sorry.
This is bonder, right?
This is, no, yeah, pH bond. This is it's like OPI, Band-Aid.
All of it, okay.
Okay, it's going to dry the nail, clean the nail surface. Now we're going to use our non-acid primer, Pro Bond.
Oh, yeah. Silicone coat, right?
This is Pro Bond. It's a protein bonder. We're using just enough to have the surface moist but not wet.
Pregúntale si no con extensión también se hace.
So make an extension too?
No, I did not plan on it, but if that's what you want, then we're going to have to do something a little bit different.
Dice que no, que solo lo puede hacer con así.
¿Y cómo dijo que sí lo ha hecho con extensión? Ella no.
No obligado, pero si se puede hacer.
Can you make it?
Yep.
You can make it.
Which one would you like to see an extension on?
Igual tú quieres de que elegir de la extensión.
The French or the baby boomer?
¿Cuál de esos tú quieres? Apúntalo.
French.
French.
Okay.
No, solo es que pregunte si se puede hacer con extensión.
Pero hágase y usted va a ver.
Okay, so I have to take the entire free edge off of your natural nail.
La mayoría quieren extensión.
In order for the form to fit properly, we can't have any of this free edge. And when I'm doing extensions, I'm going to use my 180 grit file and go ahead and just rough up the edge of that nail a little bit more so I have a good surface to grip to. Cleanse the debris. I have to stop all of this. Let's make it too. Using my forms. I'm going to roll the form, reinforced form, between my thumbs. And we're going to size that up. And that's really pretty good. I'm going to ask you not to look at it because people tend to pick their fingers up when they look. So if you just look at me or look at somebody else, I will be able to get this form on more easily. Back. Slide that right in. And line up the tabs, come to the end of the form together. Make sure it is the same C curve as your nail.
它这个牌子的
Yeah
就像它这个牌子的 powder 胶，它这 powder 是一盒到1盎司的多少钱
12块9毛。
？12块9毛，那它就给 SS 的价格差不多一样的。
是，
好像比 SS 还贵一点。
应该要贵一点，因为他们胶
Okay, I'm going to need you to just like that. Thank you.
我们今天有打折，
多少钱？
打8折。
打8折，12块5花多少钱呢？
10块3毛6。
10块3毛6，那它这个成本价还是比 NC 的要贵一些。这个成本还是比 NC 的是2盎司，现在15块钱、16块钱。
NC
对呀、但做出来的效果都是一样的，还算可以吧？它的价钱，要是打多折以后10块钱就可以了，能打到10块钱就可以了。它有多少种颜色
120。
120种颜色。
Okay, so we start with our pH bond.
SNS。
Now I'm going to use my Pro Bond.
SS 的现在多少钱？
Son nombres que yo no sé.
打8折以后，
那个没有打折。
不知道那是多少钱现在？
你等会到上面。
Yes, it's necessary.
有折。
This is our Pro Bond.
现在价格是多少钱？
这 powder 胶60块一支，
它叫做 powder 胶。
Okay.
Polygel。
powder
不
胶。
叫 powder 胶 ，polygel。
powder 胶。
So I'm going to use my Polygel
这
tool.
一套多少钱呢？
It has a cutting tool on one end and the brush on the other. Using my slip solution, which is not a monomer. It has no active monomer ingredients in it, so it's very safe and gentle. It has very mild aroma. You can smell very light, very light. Not like a traditional liquid and powder smell at all.
不能计算出
Eso se llama
出门
Polygel.
价不是1块5，因为
This is
1块1到50
Polygel
多少
se llama
钱？
esa
No, eso
不
se
能
llama
说
Polygel.
What is that Polygel? What is the name Polygel?
This is slip, Polygel slip.
Oh,
This is the solution that we use to dip the brush and move the polygel. It doesn't interact with the polygel in any way. It's just so that the brush will slide on the surface.
然后如果单单只是普通的做
So I'm starting with my natural clear, and I'm going to use a small bead because I'm going to make a very thin, clear extension so that when I cure my bright white, it will cure all the way through. If I put bright white on top of the form and cure it, the underside of it will not cure. So I have to make a clear extension first. So we're going to roll this off on the nail, right at the very edge of the nail, onto the form, dip in my slip solution, wipe both sides of my brush, back bleed both sides of my brush off. Very, very little slip solution is necessary. Okay, and before I do that, actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll off for the baby boomer that we're doing on this finger. I'm going to use my soft white. We start with the soft white with the baby boomer. And again, just a little bit. We don't need a lot. This is a shorter nail. And we roll this off this way and kind of pull it out to the edge of the nail. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and press this out. And I'm working this the same way, basically, I'm going to work acrylic. I'm going to press and apply pressure by rolling my brush in the direction I would like the polygel to move. If I want it to move up, I'm pressing up. If I want it to move down, I'm pressing and pulling down. But it does not move like traditional hard gel. You can't lead it or just put your brush down and pull it. Polygel is not a hard gel. It doesn't operate that way. You want to work with it more like you would work with acrylic. Pat, 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 stroke to smooth. Pat, 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 stroke to smooth. And I'm going to pull this extension as thin as I can get it. Make sure my lower arch is good. And if it's a little longer than I want it to be, I can just cut it off. And I can also, because it won't move, I can go ahead and I can work on this second nail. So if I were in the salon, I would be able to work on all 5 nails before I have to go into the light. Because it does not run and it does not harden until we put it in the light. And I'm using the belly of the brush to press to make that fade happen. And then we're going to stroke to smooth. You want to go anywhere from halfway to 3/4 of the way up the nail. Just depends on how deep you want your white to be on your fade. And you'll see by looking at it sideways that it goes up a little bit. And that's okay because we're going to be filing it a little bit so that shape will come down. But we need to leave it like that in order to get the proper effect. Just wanted to blend that a little bit more. As soon as I feel my brush starting to stick, I'm going to dip again in my slip solution. Okay. Happier with that? Just going to clean up this free edge a little bit here. Okay, both the whole hand, please, into the light for 30 seconds. Everybody's so quiet. Okay, so we're going to take this form off now. Carefully. Peel back the tabs. Separate the product from the form. Pinch, push in, pull down. Now I have a clear form that I can build my extension on. Do my pink and white. Okay. Okay, so when we're doing pink and white with polygel, we always, always, always start with pink first. Because what we're going to do is we're going to set our smile line in the pink, not in the white. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll a small amount. And that's a large sum. I really don't need that much, but it's okay.
Siempre sí. En el de ella le puso el clear primero.
And for our baby boomer, again, we'll put a small bead on the nail. Okay. So first things first, let's tack this smile line. So I like to make my beads pretty before I start pressing them. I want it to be as even and round and smooth as I can get it, because if it starts out smoother, it's easier to spread evenly. Does that make sense? So for the French, using the cover pink, I'm not concerned about the cuticle line with the cover pink. This is just to make my smile line. Okay, so I'm working from sidewall to sidewall. As soon as I feel my brush stick, dip. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm getting it all the way into the sidewall there, all the way into the sidewall here. And then I'm going to work on my smile line. I'm going to pull very gently. I'm not applying any pressure. I'm just kind of touching the surface, pulling just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, that looks pretty good. Not bad, but I want to refine it. I want it to be perfect.
Yo entiendo un poco, no todo.
That's all right. You go ahead and continue to translate. So I'm going to go ahead and press right down here where that meets. Just tap, 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 tap. Blending it into the nail plate. I'm not worrying about the cuticle area because the cuticle area is going to be done with the dark pink, so that we have a nice transition from the cuticle line to the cover pink. You won't see that hard line as the nail grows out. That makes sense? Okay. Now I'm going to refine my smile line. I'm going to use my brush, and it's going to be perpendicular. I'm not pulling. Pressing very gently. I want this wall to be as straight up and down as possible. And if you use your brush properly, you're going to get a nice, even, straight wall for your smile line. Now, because I have plenty of time, I can turn it around and check it. Lopsided, don't like how it looks. So I can fix it. Just check again. Which side? What's most important when we're working the pink and white with the Polygel is that we get this smile line exactly the way we want it before we cure. You want it straight up and down as much as possible. Okay. It's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Now you want to leave it up like that because I'm going to file all that away. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about shape. This is not for shape. This is just for smile line. And you can see I'm going to leave that while I'm working on this one. And again, sidewall to sidewall. We press out and towards the cuticle. And then we're going to work the cuticle area using just the tips of the bristles. Very light tapping, very light, very light, very light. And then stroke. Now I can tell that I have more on here than I really need. So there's a couple ways you can handle that. You can cut some off, or you can just press it all the way down to the free edge and then pull off the excess. And because, again, we're not worrying about cure time, I want to work this blend to where I'm really happy with it. Again, I'm not worrying about structure. I'm not worried if I have a low spot in the center. What I want is a nice fade. I want a good transition for this fade. So I'm going back and forth so that I can take the pink off of that free edge a little bit. Okay? Again, not worrying about structure or shape. I'm just worrying about how that blend looks. We'll just refine this just a little bit.
No se seca rápido.
And you can do any shape smile line you like. For demonstration purposes, we try and do a deep smile line so you can really see what you can do with the product. I just want to make sure that my points are at the same place and that I have a wall, an actual wall for my smile line that goes from side wall to side wall. You don't want to feather this product in. You want a nice wall because we're going to need that wall to make our smile line. I'm going to just check that one more time. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So whole hand into the light, please. And we're going to cure that for 30 seconds.
它用那个沾笔的那个是酒精还是离灰吧？是它专用的。哦，
他们就是用来
沾笔的。
隔开笔和那个灰浆，没有，然后
就相当于我们的离灰呀，或者这个。
但它没有完全是皮肤它油漆的，然后味道也是。
它多少钱一个？
Okay, so you can see how we've cured that. It's a whoop, but that's okay. That's not a problem because we're going to cover the cuticle area. Oh, wrong one. I grabbed the cover pink. Silly me. I want dark pink. So I only need a small amount.
Is color pink?
This is not cover pink. This is dark pink. Okay. And then we're going to unload that closer to the cuticle. I'm going to ask you to, thank you. And again, try and make it pretty. And then press. Sidewall to sidewall. Working it towards the cuticle. And again, it's the same way you would move acrylic. You're just going to touch the surface, basically apply pressure in the direction you want the product to move. You want to keep your brush as flat to the nail as you can, depending on where you're working. So if you're at the cuticle line, you want to be here. Center of the nail, you're here. When you're working the free edge, you're like that. Working the brush in the proper position is really important in controlling where the product goes. So holding your brush in your proper position is important.